shock, confusion, and a wave of questions no one was prepared for. That's exactly what exploded across America the moment the Supreme Court dropped its stunning 6-3 decision that just overturned key gun laws and officially changed the meaning of your rights. And if you think this is just another legal twist, think again, because what I'm about to reveal will challenge everything you thought you knew. This ruling didn't just shake the political world. It sent a message so loud that lawmakers, agencies, and even gun owners themselves are scrambling to understand what comes next. Is this a massive victory for constitutional freedom, or the beginning of a brand new legal battlefield? Why are experts warning about hidden implications buried in the decision? And why are some states already preparing emergency responses behind closed doors? Stay with me, because the details in this video are not just controversial, they are explosive. Before we dive deep, I need you to do something crucial. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. Not just as support, but because YouTube only recommends videos like this, videos that challenge the narrative when you interact. If you don't subscribe, this kind of content eventually disappears from your feed, and the platform stops showing it to people who need to hear it. Your subscription tells YouTube that this topic matters. So take a second, smash subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a comment telling me what part of this Supreme Court decision shocked you the most so far. Your comment boosts the video and helps more people stay informed about decisions that affect every citizen's rights. And trust me, you will want to watch this video to the very end, because the final revelation about what this ruling activates behind the scenes will leave you absolutely stunned. Let's get into it. 1. What just happened? The 6-3 bump stock ruling. The Supreme Court, in a 6-3 majority decision, struck down the federal ban on bump stocks, ruling that these rapid-fire accessories are not legally machine guns under the National Firearms Act. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote for the majority, joined by the conservative bloc, saying that while bump stocks may increase a firearm's rate of fire, they do not meet the statutory definition of a machine gun because they do not fire more than one round per trigger pull. This decision overturns the 2018 regulation issued after the Las Vegas shooting and undercuts the ATF's long-standing interpretation. This is not a minor legal tweak. For gun rights advocates, it is a vindication. Accessories once banned may now be legal gain, or at least no longer automatically classed as machine guns. But make no mistake, it's controversial. The 3 dissenting justices warned this could open the door to more permissive interpretations of what kinds of rapid-fire devices are allowed. Legal experts are already calling this a seismic shift. 2. The Ghost Guns decision, a surprising contradiction and a striking twist that caught both gun rights activists and gun control advocates off guard. The Supreme Court's ruling on ghost guns moved in the opposite direction of the 6-3 bump stock decision, creating what many experts call a deep legal contradiction. While the court loosened restrictions on bump stocks, it simultaneously upheld federal regulations on ghost gun kits by a 7-2 margin, ruling that these unassembled firearm components can legally be treated as full firearms when they are easily convertible into working weapons. This decision reflects growing concern about the rapid rise of untraceable guns, especially those built with 3D printed parts or mail-order kits, and it signals that the court is willing to draw a harder line when modern technology bypasses traditional firearm regulations. What makes this ruling so surprising is that it reinforces federal oversight just days after weakening it in another area, creating a complex landscape where gun owners may gain rights on one front while facing tighter scrutiny on another. 3. State gun laws are still under the microscope. State gun laws remain under intense scrutiny as the Supreme Court's recent actions send mixed but powerful signals about how far states can go in regulating firearms. Even though the court struck down the federal bump stock ban, it declined to review challenges to assault weapon bans and magazine capacity limits in states like Maryland and Rhode Island, effectively allowing those laws to stand for now. But this refusal wasn't unanimous. Several justices openly questioned whether such restrictions can survive long-term under the Bruin text, history, and tradition test, hinting that the court may take up these cases when the legal record is stronger. As a result, state legislatures are moving cautiously, knowing their policies could be the next to face constitutional challenge. At the same time, gun rights groups see the 6-3 ruling as encouragement to push harder against restrictive state laws, creating a volatile environment where regulations may shift rapidly depending on upcoming court battles. 4. The Bruin legacy. How this all connects. To fully understand why this 6-3 ruling matters, you need to know about New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, 2022. In Bruin, the court held that public carry is a constitutional right, and rejected the proper cause licensing test used by many states. Instead, the court introduced a test. Any firearm regulation must be consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation, matching modern restrictions with historical analogs. That test has become the standard for evaluating gun laws across the country. And now, in this bump stock decision, that same spirit of strict textual/historical interpretation seems to be at work. The bump stock ruling suggests the court is willing to apply Bruin not just to carrying firearms but to accessories and definitions of what constitutes a firearm. That sets a precedent, a legal signal that more gun restrictions could be challenged under this framework. Bruin isn't dead. It's evolving. 5. Implications for gun owners, lawmakers, and public safety. What does this all mean in practice? For gun owners, this could expand the realm of legally owned accessories. Some bump stocks may now be legal, potentially resurrecting a market that was largely shut down after 2018. That could embolden enthusiasts and Second Amendment advocates to push harder on more restrictive laws, citing the bump stock ruling as proof that the court will side with gun rights. For lawmakers, especially at the state level, this ruling is a major warning. If states persist in maintaining or expanding bans on rapid-fire accessories or unusual weapons, they may face renewed legal challenges backed by the court's current majority. The political climate around gun control could harden, with pro-gun legislators feeling empowered and gun control advocates scrambling to defend regulations on other fronts. But what about public safety? Critics of the decision argue that by overturning the bump stock ban, the court has undone a regulation that was intended to prevent mass shooting-level firepower. They warn that loosening these restrictions could make mass shootings more deadly. On the other hand, supporters argue that constitutional rights shouldn't be sacrificed for fear, and that historical interpretation should guide the law, not modern panic. 6. What's next? Key cases to watch and the future of gun rights. This 6-3 decision is not the end. It may well be just the beginning of a new era of Second Amendment litigation. First, keep your eyes on California's magazine bans, notably Duncan v. Bonta, a case challenging the ban on large-capacity magazines, over 10 rounds. While this is a Ninth Circuit case, its impact is national. If SCOTUS takes it up, the historical tradition test could be used to strike down magazine restrictions. Second, the court recently granted certiorari in United States v. Hemani, a high-stakes case challenging the federal ban on gun possession by unlawful drug users, 18 U.S.C. Section 922, G. 3. If the court rules in favor of Hemani, it could broaden gun rights in a way that many did not expect. Third, there is tension around domestic violence restraining orders. In United States v. Rahimi, 2024, the Supreme Court upheld a federal law that disarms people subject to restraining orders, but in doing so, clarified how the Bruin test should apply, focusing on general principles rather than direct historical analogs. That framework could influence how future restrictions are evaluated. Finally, the court's bump stock decision may signal that other accessory bans, or definitions of firearms, could be attacked more aggressively. We may see new lawsuits targeting other rapid-fire devices, or even pushing back on regulations that broadly define what a gun is. In conclusion, this 6-3 ruling is not just a technical victory, it's a legal turning point. By striking down the bump stock ban, the court is reshaping the battlefield of gun rights. They are reaffirming a robust Second Amendment interpretation, signaling more challenges to come, while simultaneously upholding regulation in areas like ghost guns where it sees a clear statutory foundation. What this means for you depends on where you live, what you own, and how ready you are for more fights in the courts. If you knew all this already, great. But if these implications surprised you, comment below what shocked you most. Are you more worried about public safety, or inspired by the expansion of constitutional rights? And make sure to watch until the very end of this video, because I'll share a prediction that could set the agenda for the next wave of gun litigation, and trust me, you don't want to miss it.